Alright, I'm picking up today, back with Space Pirates and Zombies for the second part of Chapter 1 of our walkthrough. As you can see, where we left off, we're now, still in minor favors, and we're still in the Earth solar system. We're gonna go ahead and, head towards our next mission.
Maybe you should read this.
And this is how I was explaining the mass retreat button. I kind of explained previously a little bit about retreating. Mass retreat is basically similar to the retreat option, except that when your ships dip out, you leave the area and head back to your mothership instead of just sending them back after they're healed up. Alright, so what we're doing here is we're just destroying all these enemy ships. We're facing against the darts and scouts right now. We're getting some nice data pickups from that. We got some bigger UTA ships that are on the way. We just destroyed a new type of ship. We got the Boomerang, which we only need one more black box to unlock the design. And I'm going to start covering a little bit about various commands we can give the AI in the tactics panel. Now, one thing that's important to note is AI mode. There's two options. There's assist player and fire at will. The difference between the two is assist player means that the AI always prioritizes whatever target you currently have selected. In this case, the surplus dart, although it's on the enemy around right now. Setting the AI to fire at will will allow it to choose its own targets based on whatever it finds that it will be most effective against. Which means that its chances are it might not be shooting at the same thing that you're shooting at. But that can be a good thing. Especially if you're not quick on the draw when it comes to switching targets. Choosing fire at will can sometimes save your ships, because when they're choosing whatever target that you have selected, if it's not a target that's nearby, they can end up trying to go after it while they're being shot at by other nearby enemies instead. So now we're done with this level, or mission, sorry. We'll pick up some goons here. And we got some res for that. And we can use research points, but we're going to hold off on that now because we still want to pick up some more items first. We're going to go to the mining station before heading back to the clockwork. Alright, now we're going to pick up the overload emitter, which is going to be a much better version of the beam weapon that I currently have. You can spend 3 points upgrading beams again, because I like those, as I mentioned earlier. I'm going to switch my ship. Actually, let me check out the you see the Boomerang, which is a new type of ship that we have that actually has armor plates as well, which is very nice. We're going to upgrade it so that it has shields, standard shields and standard reactor. And then we're going to give it 2 of our overload emitters, which are more powerful than the small focal emitter beam. As you can see, the damage is higher, but the range is lower. but that's okay because the range offset's not that bad. Now we've got our new boomerang ship, which can take more damage than the dart can, although it's more expensive and a little bit slower. And now we've got the overload emitter weapons. Now it's time to head back to the clockwork.
The miners had made good on their promise.
Now we
As
get
the
to
following
watch
weeks
the little
came and went, the
more
clockwork
story
slowly
mode
took
stuff.
shape. Many miners had joined the clockwork's crew in hopes of one day finding their fortune beyond the warp gate. Don and his crew had begun to make a name for themselves, a name that would eventually spread throughout the stars and become legend. Time had finally come to leave Earth behind and embark on the long journey to the core.
Alright.
I sure hope you're paying attention.
Okay, so now we've gotten an upgrade. We can now field more ships and larger ships. And also, something that I just explained is every time we level now, we're going to have the amount of goons in our pool will be cloned. And that 10% clone rate means that, saying that we're at 46 now, 10% of that, let's say it's rounded down, would be 4 goons. So if we gained a level right now, we'd get a bonus 4 goons into our pool. And I'm going to go ahead and build another ship. Actually, I'm going to build a dart. Alright, and this is explaining a little bit about missiles. They're triggered by, as it says, the right click button. And the thing about missiles is they home in on their targets. You can start out with 2 different types. There's a surplus torpedo and then the micro missile. I'm going to go for the micro missile because you're facing smaller ships right now. You don't need much of a reactor. Although, since it also affects shields, we were still going to get the standard reactor, but it's not necessary. Because missiles don't use any power, or if so, very little when they fire. Anyways, so now this is starting to explain the civilian and UTA presence and the conflicts that go on between both. And as you can see now, all these levels have opened up, which are going to allow us to gain relations with one faction or another. You see this UTA, you have a disruptor cannon, but instead of messing up our civilian relations and taking the time to build up UTA relations in this solar system, I'm gonna come back here later and destroy that starbase. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and, what's this? Mining expedition, civilian patrol, UTA patrol. Let's do trash heap, because or beacon basher, actually, that one's fun. I'm gonna do one of these missions more as an example and to gain a little bit of data before we approach the blockade. And these red exclamation mark missions are how you gain favor with one faction over another. Also a way of gaining levels and also getting bonus data and resources versus just destroying enemy ships. And this particular one, we've got to take out a series of beacons. And as you start to take them out, you see these enemies start to warp in. And I'll be doing separate guides for the various side missions, just to kind of cover what goes on in each. And I'm doing this one more for a bit of an example now. and the rest of the chapter guides will focus more on the chapter-specific missions, with some various leveling tips for the level ranges that you should be in at those times. Now you can see from our tactics panel, next two beacons are up at the top. And that's a little bit random where the beacons are. But they always seem to spawn defenders that come to their aid. Go for this one. And as you can see, there's these little containers around. Just shot one. That's an explosive container. They do various things. The blue ones are good at dropping shields. The green ones leave behind these toxic cloud type deals. And there's oh yeah, the red ones are just good again, good for damaging whatever's near them. And see if I can. Oh, didn't quite trigger it in time.
Maybe you should read this.
Alright, so we lost one of our ships here. I just lost another one. Let's see if I can repair this other guy.
Destroyed.
Nope, I lost all my ships. That sucks. But it happens. It's to be expected. Turn on auto rebuild for ship number 3 here. Luckily these ships are cheap, so it's not really a big loss when they do get destroyed. And oftentimes in these missions we'll have some sort of help from the other, or I should say presence from the other faction. It's not always help because it really depends on what your relations are with them. In this case we're friendly with the civilians, so the civilian ship is actually helping us out. If we weren't friendly with the civilians, they would attack both us and the UTA. And while firing on the civilian ships, or any ships that are friendly to you, will decrease your standing with them until they become hostile towards you. They do not become hostile towards you, however, if you instead choose to blow up explosives that are nearby them in order to destroy them. We just lost a ship again. Pull back a little bit. And it can help to retreat so that an enemy switches targets to another one of your ships. Like, my shield just dropped, so I had that try to get the beacon to take its beam onto the other little helper I had. Alright, took out that beacon.
Destroyed.
Alright, take out this last dart and the scout. Oops, lost some relations with the civilians, probably from friendly fire. Another unfortunate side effect that kind of happens from time to time. And as you can see, the UTA is even more pissed off with us, but that's fine. So now we're going to head for the blockade. And each blockade has a set number of ships of the UTA that spawn there to defend it. And typically it's several lighter ships and one heavier ship. How heavy the heavy ship is depends on the exact strength of the blockade. I'm going to try to get away. Ah, damn it. That didn't work. was the sound of my ship destroyed. Ah, come on. Alright. Well, the blockade is cleared at least. And that's how you move from system to system. So always keep in mind, you have basically two ways to get past blockades. You can either fight the defenders, or you can bribe your way past. And bribing is usually something that you want to do when you really just don't want to piss off the UTA, or you just can't get past by fighting them. But keep in mind that you have to have good relations with the UTA in order to bribe them. And it's also important to keep in mind that basically choose how you want to play out the missions and gain favor with which faction. And take into account the fact that when you leave the solar system, you might end up pissing off the UTA. So get anything that you need to do when they're nice to you done out of the way early on, before you start opening up blockades, preferably. So now that we've opened up this system, it's going to start talking to us more about blockades and how each star connects to each star, and the different relationships that each faction can have with us. I'm going to go ahead and move to this next system. Alright, now we are basically outside of Earth, and I think we're pretty much done with Chapter 1 here.
I sure hope you're paying attention. There will be a quiz.
Okay, yeah, so this is the end of Chapter 1. And now it's just kind of saying how, you know, we're free to do whatever. And a few more things, I guess, that are kind of important to cover. You'll have 3 different types of missions. You've got the exclamation mark, these red ones, which are your normal favor winning missions, and these are what you're going to do to gain res and data, and generally most of the missions you take will be these ones. Then there's the yellow question mark ones, which those are kind of events, usually nothing, those various different ones. I'll cover those separately, but typically it's things that don't necessarily represent an aggression, I guess, by either faction. Then there's there's like one with like a little orange face on it, and that's when they're fighting each other. And that's basically just a battlefield type situation with UTA and civilians, and later on zombies all attacking each other. And then there'll be like blue exclamation marks, which are secondary missions, which are special side missions you can only do once. And those will each have their own video as well. So yeah, that's pretty much it for Chapter 1. And also, because of the open nature of this game, I want to make sure that I put it out to you guys, that if you have any specific requests of what I do a video on, that you go ahead and please let me know, and I will go ahead and I will do videos on whatever it is. Because basically how open this game is, it's kind of like, you know, I just kind of have to figure out or kind of guess how I'm going to divide the videos. So if you got a suggestion, you know, a topic that you want me to cover, that'll be helpful, and I have no problem doing it. So definitely let me know. And that's pretty much it. And check for more videos soon.